You got royal blood running in your veins, because you're part of me, and I'm royal. And whatever anybody say, you don't have to be better than, but you are as good as anybody, whoever, wherever. So, guys, you got royal blood. Remember that. Part of me is royal. My full name is Elizabeth Lewis Fambro Stubbs, okay. But my original name was Elizabeth Lewis Fambro. My granny named me Elizabeth because she said I was her princess. I was born in Jackson, Georgia, Butts County, in December the 6th, 1934. It's a small town. Everybody knew everybody. It was all poor, very poor, but I never knew I was poor. And received a lot of love. That's what counts, is the love. Family means to me love, understanding, patience, guidance, and being for each other. That's family and family love. My granny made sure that whatever was happening, that I was a part of it. When I was a teenager, I was on the radio, Youth Speak. I went to different little cities with different things, from the church. I don't want to brag, but I was kind of smart. I was on the honor roll. And I played basketball. And my granny paid for me to take music lessons. I took piano because I can't play, but I took it. I had a real wonderful childhood. I really did, because my granny thought I was the prince. I mean, she treated me like I was royalty. When I woke up in the morning, she would ask me what I want for breakfast. And whatever I wanted, that's what everybody ate. I was the one in charge. That's why I like being in charge. I've been in charge all my life, I was in charge. In my household, I was the princess. But outside of the household, my sister was the princess because she was very fair. And I was very dark. And people used to call me names because I was dark. And I would have had a lot of hang-ups if it don't be for my granny. Because she said, let me sit you down, baby. And she says, when God made you, he got the best black he could find. And he just poured it all over you. And when you walk down the street, you just hold your head back and let your black shine. So that's why I didn't have any hang-ups about being black, because I knew that I was the best that God could find. I always wanted a lot of children. Because when I was growing up, it was just me and my sister. And we lived next door to a lady that had 4 or 5 kids. And every morning I would get up and get cleaned up and stuff and go over there to play with them, because they seemed to be having a lot of fun, because it was a lot of them. But I always wanted a lot of babies. I birthed 7, raised 9. I didn't have any skills, just a high school education with no skills, because during high school I took college prep. I was determined to go to college, and, but it didn't work out like that. I enrolled in Morris Brown College, and I stayed there until January. She wrote me a letter. My sister wrote me a letter and told me that I had to come back to Cleveland to help take care of her because she was pregnant. And that's all she had to say, if she needed me. And I came, that's how I got to Cleveland, came back to Cleveland to help take care of my sister. So when I got into life, I did factory work. I did maid, I guess you call it maid work. I did that too. And then I was a waitress, which I made pretty good money being a waitress. And I know that God is good because it's been times when I was raising my children as a single parent, I didn't know what I was gonna do for my rent, my food, stuff like that. Because when I worked in a restaurant, I only made $17 a week. But my tips were great because I was in the area where I had Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, all those people used to come to where I worked at, so they were good tippers, Muhammad Ali, he was like a arrogant person, he was. And when he came to the restaurant, everybody was running around, I've never been a person worshiper. I'm sorry, I just don't. And I would stand back and look at him, and he noticed me not being one of those. So he came over, he said, "You don't know who I am, do you?" I said, "No, why?" He said, "I'm Muhammad Ali." I said, "So what?" "I'm Elizabeth Fambro." "So what?" He said, "I'm going to give you a tip for that." He gave me a $10 bill because I was not one of those that was going to run after him. I don't care what he got, You make plans, but the plans that you make are not always what God had in store for you. So what you need to do is be diligent and patient. Patience is a virtue. If you be patient about things, then the right thing comes to you. That's what happened to me. Because I wanted to be a police person, but I never thought about being in the sheriff department. And I loved my job. When I first started working there, I was not a CO or anything. I was a matron. They call you matrons. I started out as a matron, making $1.50 an hour. That's how I started. When I retired, I was making $32 an hour. That's how I upgraded myself. I was the first black female. Now, they had a lot of black men, sergeant, but I was the first black female to be the sergeant in the Cuyahoga County. Oh, I love everybody. And I hope they love me. And with my grandchildren, I hope they look at me as being a great grandmother because I love them all. And it's a blessing for me to live to see the 5th generation. I'm grateful. That's how I feel. I don't mean to cry on this, but I'm sorry. But it's touching for me because I never expected to have all this. So, and I hope they all love me, because I do love them. I like being in charge. I was always in charge from a kid on up. So that was part of me, is being in charge. And God knew that. That was what I was meant to be.